Okay, so now we have equations. So now we are actually, because of this equal sign, we're trying to get to find out what A would need to be so that this statement, 3A minus 1 over 4 equals 2, could be true. So um, we're still going to find the least common factor, okay? But we're going to do something a little different with it with the equals. So in this case, it's just 4. What we're going to do to both sides, this is similar to what we did a few days ago, but is multiply both sides by 4. We're going to multiply by the least common factor. Now, the reason for that is this. When I multiply 4 times this first thing, I do not need to distribute it because 4 times all this divided by 4, the 4's would reduce out. So that all I'd be left with is 1 times 3a minus 1, which is just 3a minus 1. So 3a minus 1 could equal 8. Okay? Then I would solve this like you have in the past. Add 1. So 3a equal 9 and divide by 3. So a would be 3. Now one trick here, and there's no variable in the denominator, so this won't really matter for this. But one trick here now is that if you plugged a back into this, there's no a in the denominator, so you're okay, but you have to kind of test to see, will the value actually work? There can be, see here it says make sure you check your solutions. There can be values that won't work because the denominator of a fraction cannot be 0. So that won't work. So if you put a number in, so for instance, number 3, if t was 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, and you can't divide something by 0. So that wouldn't work. So t couldn't be 1. So if t comes out 1 in number 3, that won't work. Okay? All right, number 4. So if I want to get rid of these fractions, I've got a 4 and I've got a 5. So the least common multiple, okay, 4 and 5. If you're ever not sure, if you want a common multiple but not the least, you can literally multiply all fractions together. In this case, 4 and 5 have no common factors except 1. So 4 times 5, I got 20. I'm going to multiply everything by 20, every term by 20. So when I'll multiply the first term by 20, I get 20y. 1 times 20 is 20. Now, this 20, a lot of people want to multiply it by the numerator and the denominator. You're multiplying by 20 over 1, in effect. So you're only multiplying to the the numerator. So you get 60 over 4y. And then 20 times 1, 20 over 5y. Now, what this does, if you do this, is it gets rid of, 60 over 4 is 15, it gets rid of the fraction. Okay, so now I'm going to combine like terms on this side. 20 minus 15, that's 5y, plus 20 equal 4y. If I subtract 5y, so at this point, this is like stuff you've done before. I'm trying to find the value of y that would make this statement up here true. Well, I can't have negative y, so I'm going to divide by negative 1. Okay, or opposite. I want the opposite. So y equals negative 20. All right. Now, in number 3, okay, number 3, I'm going to try, this is tricky, okay? They all are, right? I keep saying they're all tricky, but least common multiple, or least common factor, least common denominator, whatever, all kind of synonymous types of things. Not synonymous, but, okay, if I've got t minus 1, and this is 1 minus t, if I take negative 1 out of 1 minus t, I get t minus 1. Okay? Because if you redistribute this, you make the t a negative, the 1 a positive, and that's what you have here, a positive 1 and a negative t. So I can multiply or factor out a negative 1. So the least common denominator, negative 1 times t minus 1. Okay, that's what this denominator would be, negative 1 times t minus 1. So we're going to multiply everything by that. Negative 1 times t minus 1. Negative 1 hold on, let me write this nice here, times -1 times t minus 1. All right. Well, when I do this, I get -1 times 2t, so -2t, okay, times minus over t minus 1. Notice I'm not multiplying yet, and I'll show you why in a second. You might already see it. So I get -1 times t minus 1 times t plus 6. Now you can do all this multiplying, but I would not suggest it, and here's why. The reason we're doing this is so this will happen. Those will reduce each other out. So all we're left with is -2t equals, equals t plus 6 minus t, -3t equals 6. Divided by -3, t is -2. Again, let's sub it in. -2 minus 1. As long as this denominator isn't 0, we're cool. And -2 will not do that to it. So we're okay. All right? Okay. Number 4. Number 4 is tricky, like all of them, right? Like I've said over and over. So you've got w plus 2, so my least common denominator. You've got w plus 2 and w minus 2. Those are not the same. Now, before you say, oh, and w squared minus 4, if you factor w squared minus 4, this is a difference of squares, guys. This is a difference of squares. So take a second and think about it. What would w squared minus 4 factor to? Okay, it would be w plus 2, w minus 2. So this is all I need to multiply by everything by. W plus 2, w minus 2. The whole thing. Let me do this. I'm going to clean this out here. We don't have to keep that. Let me use a different color too. So w plus 2, w minus 2. Okay? Both sides times this. Okay? When I multiply this, here's what happens. I'm going to try to cut a step out for you. Check it out. When you multiply 10w times w plus 2, w minus 2, look what's going to happen to the w plus 2s. They should go away. And what you should be left with is 10w times w minus 2, because w minus 2 won't go away. Okay, when I multiply these two things, okay, the w minus 2 should go away. So 2w minus 3 times w plus 2 should be left. And then the last one, remember this is w squared minus 4. So that gets rid of everything. So you're left with 2w squared minus 3. Okay? And this one's icky. But you can do this. 10w times both. So 10w squared minus 20w. Okay? Minus, I'm going to go ahead and do all this. 2w times 2w squared plus 4w minus 3w minus 6. Okay? This is a lot. So 10w squared minus 20w. This minus distributes. These two can be combined too. So that gives me 1w. So I get minus 2w squared minus, because it would have been plus 1w. Is that supposed to be a 6? Yes. Okay, so plus 6. Okay, it's going to take some room. So combining like terms, I get 8w squared minus 20 and 1. So minus 21w plus 6 equals 2w squared minus 3. So remember, we're trying to solve for w. Now, when we have a quadratic, this is going back and reviewing the last unit. When we have a quadratic, we have to get everything to one side. We have to zero out a side to be able to solve this. We did not do this a lot in that unit because I gave you Desmos, but let's do that. Let's get everything to one side. I'll show you two ways to do it actually. So if I minus 2w minus 2w squared, I get 6w squared minus 21w plus 6 equal negative 3. Add 3. 6w squared minus 21w plus 9. Okay, so this is where I am. All right. Now from here, to find w, so this is a tough problem, y'all, but to find w, we've got to factor something out. So this is adding everything we've done so far. Okay. Well, when I look at these terms, I pull a 3 out, and I'm left with 2w squared minus 7w plus 3. And then I can factor this piece inside. I'm going to show you the shorter way. So if you're going to stay with me, get this down, and then we'll go from there. So this could be factored 2w and w. So this first term, 2w and w. This has got to be 3, but it's got to add to it, give me negative 7. So I'm minus 1 minus 3. Now here's how you know if that worked or not. That's minus 1w. That's minus 6w. Minus 1w and minus 6w would give me minus 7w. So I'm good. These are my two factors. Okay, so last piece. What could w be? You set w, each factor. So 3 equals 0, 2w minus 1 equals 0, w minus 3 equal to 0. Well, 3 equals 0 isn't even true, so that's no good. That makes no sense. The next one, I add, divide by 2. So w equals 1/2. And the final one, 3. So this actually has two answers, 1/2 or 3. Now I have to go back and see, would 1/2 make this denominator 0? The answer is no, the short answer. 3 would also not. So these two answers are okay. So w equals 1/2 or 3. Got to figure out where to put this. So w equals 1/2 or 3. Okay. All right. I am going to stop at that point because I've promised you 12 minutes-ish, okay? I do want to encourage you, when you watch this, ask me questions after class. Ask me questions because we do have to be able to solve these. Those were really tricky. Some of the ones that we do wouldn't be quite as tough as those. I would tell you 1, 2, and 3 are the types you're going to run into most, and 4 are for my folks that are just killing it, okay? In a good way. All right. I'm going to stop there, but I will put the other examples if you want to see them. Okay.